I'm inconsistent with uploading because I'm extremely awkward and anxious, and it means that I don't upload for several weeks to months to years at a time. I'm trying to stop overthinking as much, so instead of trying to make this video super interesting, it's gonna be extremely mundane. I'm gonna be making a couple different toasts. The one that I really want to work on today is a butter and jam toast, because I've tried making that before a couple years ago and I didn't love how it turned out. I also want to make an avocado toast. That's another one that I've messed up a lot in the past. Also, I'm gonna use molds for this because it makes my life a million times easier. And also I made these molds and the shapes that are in the molds. So, I mean, it's still my own work. I somehow managed to cut up my entire hand. I'm not 100% sure how it happened, but I think it was because of my shampoo bottle, because I got out of the shower and I just had cuts all over my hand. So now I'm wearing a glove, which I hate because I can't really feel what I'm doing as well. And it's also my dominant hand, which is gonna make this more difficult, but life isn't always perfect. It's okay. If I lose electricity, I will take that as my sign to not film. Recently, I've been trying to talk while I work in these videos because I feel like I can be myself more this way. When I do voiceovers after filming a video, I find myself getting more technical and I don't really know what to say, so I kind of just describe what I'm doing, but like, you guys can already see that. And I also don't really like doing voiceovers like that. I find it pretty boring and I don't want to make videos that I don't even like. Like, I can't really watch the first couple of videos that I started talking in. Well, actually mostly because I'm embarrassed of them, but I also don't want to take them down, especially my Clay 101 video, because I do know it helps a lot of people, but I can't listen to that video. It physically hurts me. The first few times I talked in my videos, I was so shy and nervous. And on top of that, nearly all of the artists I watch on YouTube now, or the ones I grew up watching, or even back in my PBS Bob Ross days, all those people in the art space are really gentle and calm and soft-spoken, and I am none of those things, but I felt like I had to try and be that because I felt like I was gonna stand out in a bad way, and I felt like I would come across as this annoying, awkward poser, or that people wouldn't like me because I'm a loud person. I talk too much, I can never focus on anything, and I don't really have much of a reason for why I create the art that I create. That was something that constantly got me in trouble back in art school because my professors would always be like, "What do you really mean by this art piece?" And I'd be like, "Nothing." I just think it's cool. And then they would just get mad at me. And that was part of the reason I left art school. But anyway, I'm not really insecure anymore about being different from the gentle artist stereotype, but that has brought a whole new set of issues because I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself to be entertaining or just something worth watching. Like, now that I've accepted that I'm the yapper, if I'm quiet for too long in a video, I'm like, great, now I'm boring everyone. They hate me. But I feel like with each video, I grow just a little more comfortable and I get a little closer to being my true self on camera. But that lack of confidence I have in myself is so intense every single time I'm about to film. I'm just waiting for it to eventually maybe go away. That would be cool. So yeah, I hope that offers a little bit of an explanation for why I'm so inconsistent with uploading. To give these two pieces of bread texture, I like to use tape, and I just use magic tape for this. I feel like it doesn't come out as good when I use regular transparent tape. I've previously mentioned that certain types of plastic don't react well with polymer clay, and the clay will melt them, and that happened once when I was trying to sculpt some toasts using transparent tape. I got tired for the night and I ended up leaving the tape on the clay so I could just take it off in the morning and finish sculpting, and when I did, the clay completely ripped apart because the tape had like melted and it was a mess. It was a mess. The main purpose of this tape isn't actually to create texture. I mainly do it so that I can shade the crusts of the bread without getting shading all over the inside, but it also adds some texture, which is really helpful and actually looks pretty good. I want to say this is my first time sculpting in like 3 or 4 weeks. It feels a little unnatural. Okay, now that the crusts are nice and shaded, you can go ahead and peel off the tape. These larger toasts are gonna have faces, so I'm just going ahead and adding in the eye holes. And I'm also gonna add a little hole at the top so that it can become a keychain. I usually don't actually turn these into keychains or anything, but I feel weird not having the option, so. I'm gonna make one of these toasted looking. I'm just gonna use a smaller paintbrush to add some toasty lines across this. I'm gonna make 2 of these smaller pieces of bread look toasted as well. And the first thing I'm doing for this is I'm adding orangey brown pastels to the outside. And I'm also going to bring some of this in just softly around all the edges. Real quick, back to the actual crusts. I'm now taking some brown pastels. I'm going on top of this to make the crust darker so that it stands out a little bit more. Okay, and lastly, I'm just gonna use a smaller brush, again, just like I did for the larger piece of toast. And I'm just gonna very softly create some lines, again, to make it look like it's been in a toaster. And here's the final look. I'm gonna leave that third one untoasted, so I'm just gonna leave it the way it is for right now. Before moving on, I'm gonna go ahead and pre-bake all of these pieces because I don't want to ruin all this beautiful texture and shading. In the meantime, I'm gonna make some of the pieces that are meant to go on top of the toast. And I'm gonna start with butter because that's probably the easiest thing. I'm gonna make one of these pieces of butter a little heart using this awful cutter. I'm gonna make another one that's just a square. That's not a square. I just pulled out a bunch of colors of clay because I was about to make sprinkles, which I hate doing. If you've been here a while, you probably already know that. There are very few things that upset me more than having to make sprinkles. But I just remembered that I have this jar of what I think were M&Ms at one point, and I think some of these are sprinkles as well. So I want to see if I could use these instead. They're all different sizes and shapes, because again, I don't think these are all the same thing. I can tell this was meant to be a sprinkle, but I think these were M&Ms. I've had people ask before, like, if you hate making sprinkles so much, why don't you just make a bunch of them so that you don't have to ever make them again? But unfortunately, it's not that easy. I've done that in the past before and it's never really worked because the only way for something like that to work is to make sure your sculptures are pretty much the exact same size every single time, or else the scale is gonna be off. And in my case, it has always been off. I think those are the only ones I have that are actually... Wait, this one too. I might have to start using some of these M&M pieces. The smaller ones. They look similar enough. This looks like a chip. I think it was for a cosmic brownie. But we're gonna use it. I will do anything to not have to make sprinkles right now. I'm gonna be so honest. I'm already tired. That does not sound like a good time to me. I think this might be enough. I think we're gonna be okay. I don't think I have to make sprinkles. I'm gonna make some mashed avocado now. And I have all these little pieces of green clay that I mixed at some point. I'm not really sure what they were used for, but I think this will be a decent color. Just gonna add some, gonna add some liquid clay. And I'm gonna do pretty much that exact same thing to make peanut butter and also to make some scrambled eggs. But for the eggs, I'm gonna add a little bit less liquid clay so that it doesn't really have as much of a watery consistency. finally gonna give this plain piece a crust. I'm just gonna use some brown clay for this. And I did add a bit of liquid clay to the baked piece so that this can stick onto it. I'm gonna start assembling this buttered toast. Let's start with the melted butter. We have an Australian viewer who has been asking for fairy bread, I think is what it's called, for a while now. So I'm gonna go ahead and make one of those. I'm gonna use some liquid clay to make sure the sprinkles adhere to the clay. I would love to be able to just sprinkle these on top, but if I try to do that, I know they're just gonna go everywhere, and I don't really want to clean that up. I hope we have enough. Remember what I said earlier about pre-made sprinkles always being the wrong scale? Yeah, these are way too big, but I'm not gonna remake them. I don't know why I said that like it was a question. I've been trying to make this look like a heart for like 3 minutes now, and it just does not look like one. These sprinkles are significant. The sprinkles are just way too big. I might just make a couple more sprinkles this same size. I should have just made the sprinkles from the beginning, but it is way too late at night for me to be redoing it. So next I'm gonna make a bear toast. I've made this before and it's one of my favorites. I just start out with some peanut butter. Okay, next I'm gonna add on a snout and some ears using some banana cane slices that I did not make. And now I'm gonna add on some blueberries for eyes and a nose. I haven't done a very good job of making jam and butter toast in the past, so I think I'm gonna try something a little different this time, and I think I'm just gonna go ahead and make the jam out of resin because I've used Fimo Deco Gel in the past and it doesn't come out as transparent as I want it to. I just think I could do a better job with resin. It's actually pretty cute the way it is, but anyway, we're gonna leave that so we can add some jam to it later. And for the last one, we're gonna do some avocado toast. I'm gonna start with the mashed up avocado. I'm gonna place it here in the center. I'm gonna try to spread this around. Looks a little too green, I think. I don't really remember what the clay looked like before, so it could just look too green because of the liquid clay, which will bake transparent, so it might look fine after it's baked. I'm not gonna lie, this avocado is way too creamy looking. We're just gonna have to move on. I'm gonna go ahead and use the scrambled eggs now and place this on top. I don't feel very good about this. I don't think it's gonna stick the way I want it to. This was a mistake. Normally, I would pre-bake the avocado layer before moving on, but I've been trying to pre-bake less because I feel like I do it too much. But it is definitely necessary in some situations, and this is one of them because I can't really spread out and texture the scrambled eggs the way I want to because the avocado layer is moving and getting mixed up in it. I'm just gonna carefully try and sprinkle some pepper on top. Ooh. Wow, that is too much. Too much in the wrong places, and yet not enough anywhere else. Okay, yet again, that was a mistake. I should have carefully placed these on top. I'm just gonna quickly give these two larger pieces of bread a face. I'll start with the eyes. I honestly don't know how people sculpt with gloves on all the time. I know quite a few sculptors who do this, and I don't know how they can put up with this. It is... everything's fine. Okay, I'm gonna go bake these one final time. Earlier, I rolled out a really thin snake of clay and I baked it and then I chopped it up. I'm gonna use these for the little strawberry seeds that are gonna be in the jam. I'm gonna start by making the actual resin part first. And to color the resin, I'm gonna add some chalk pastels. I'm gonna try to keep this minimal because I do want it to be kind of transparent. So I'm gonna start with a smaller amount and then if it needs more, I'll add it on top. Make sure to wear gloves on both hands if you're working with resin, but I'm lazy, so I'm just gonna be careful to not get it on the other. I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle in some of those seeds now and mix this into the jam. Okay, now I don't know if this is gonna work, but I've been thinking about this for a really long time, actually a couple years, but I've never actually cared enough to try it. I can never get that like jelly-ish consistency that jam has. Jelly jam. And I was thinking if I do this with resin, I kind of want to try curing it ever so slightly so that it gets a thicker consistency. I don't know how long to do this for because I'm scared to cure it too much. I think it might be working, or maybe I'm imagining things. Oh, it's definitely working. Okay. Ooh. Whoa. Now I'm gonna go ahead and try to place it on top and try not to mess everything up, like I oftentimes do. I think I might have made it too pigmented, or maybe it's okay. I can't really tell. It looked less opaque when I was mixing it. Now that it's on top of the toast, it doesn't look the way I expected, but it's also not bad. See, I need to learn to leave things alone because I felt like the white pieces for the seeds just didn't look quite right. So I added in some black. I thought that might look better, and now it looks worse. But it's kind of too late, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cure it. Here are the final pieces. Okay. Anyway, thanks for being here. I'm gonna go to bed. Good night.